Time now for the NBC4 News at 5 with Chuck and Colleen.
All right, thank you very much, Michael. Now, live on the news at 5 o'clock, dangerous weather conditions, extreme heat, breaking records around Southern California. The NBC4 First Alert weather team is tracking the heat, the winds, and the fires, and our first sign of any relief. Good evening. I'm Chuck Henry.
And I'm Colleen Williams. A red flag warning is in place right now. NBC4 has team coverage as temperatures reach triple digits once again out there.
Start right off with Fritz Coleman, who has the record-setting day for cities all across Southern California. Fritz?
Well, you're right, Chuck. An equal number of broken records today, and because of the time of the day. We often break the records during a Santa Ana wind latter part of the afternoon. Some of the hottest temperatures happen a couple hours later than the peak temperature day normally, and we did it again today. LA 103, Long Beach 105, warmer than downtown LA, Elsinore 101, Camarillo 103, and some more. LAX 103, Burbank 103. Look at the uniformity of temperatures. The San Fernando Valley, an equal number two at the water at LAX. UCLA 101, Newport 92 degrees. Now, temperature-wise, there is relief on the way. And even though we'll start to see them come down a little bit, probably won't feel it till Thursday. And even though we have peaked with the Santa Ana winds, we were 50-plus miles an hour overnight last night through early to this morning. The red flag warning continues through tomorrow. I've got the latest on what your neighborhood can expect over the next couple of days coming up in my first alert forecast.
All right, Fritz. And of course, as Fritz mentioned, the extreme heat, the low humidity, the winds out there making dealing with fires extremely difficult and very, very dangerous.
And the problem is just about everywhere. We want you to take a look at this map right now, because the map's going to give you an idea of what we're talking about from Castaic out to Rancho Cucamonga. And since this fire, the map was made, I understand now we have probably 8 fires. At first we thought there were 6. There may be 8 now that broke out within just a few hours of each other. One of the most frightening wildfires was the one that happened right along the 210 freeway in Rancho Cucamonga. That's where it meets Interstate 15. You know that brush area inside the cloverleaf where the freeway transitioned from one to another? Wind conditions there had the fire actually burning sideways toward traffic, creating a firestorm on the freeway. NBC4's Tony Shin is live for us right now in Rancho Cucamonga. Tony, I understand you were right in the middle of it.
That's exactly right, Chuck. And I got to tell you, it was frightening at times because of one thing, the wind. And I tell you what, the wind has been blowing so hard all day long. It's been blowing since we arrived on scene when the fire started at about 10:30 this morning. Take a look behind me. You can see that the westbound 210 connector is still closed at this time, but at least the freeways are open again.
Now check out that fire. That's
from the air. Rancho Cucamonga looked like a war zone as smoke billowed from the 210-15 interchange. This is what it looked like on the ground as the strong wind fanned the flames across the 210 freeway, sending thick smoke across all lanes and stopping all traffic on both freeways.
You're just seeing all the vehicles just shake all over the place.
The smoke was so dark going across, you couldn't see through the smoke to proceed on the freeway, so everyone just sort of stopped.
At first, firefighters couldn't slow down the flames because the relentless wind carried embers into new brush, starting more fires along the way.
It's pretty scary. We've never been in this kind of situation before, and it's right on the edge of the freeway.
Here's another one of those great water drops.
The fire quickly threatened a nearby storage business and a CHP dispatch center. People who live near the freeway also watched in fear, wondering if the wind might drive the flames into their neighborhood.
Very scary because the wind blows so strong.
Thankfully, a combination of an aggressive ground and aerial attack helped save drivers and homeowners from the firestorm, which is why they are so grateful to the men and women who protect their lives and property.
Thank you very much for being so quick and saving our lives.
Firefighter like that do just a great job.
Now, investigators say the fire actually started right over there in that area where you see those fire trucks, but at this point, the cause is still under investigation. Reporting live in Rancho Cucamonga, I'm Tony Shin, NBC4 News.
All right, Tony, thank you for that. NBC4's Patrick Healy live right now in Agora, where the fire crews there are monitoring the conditions. They want to make sure what happened in the IE today doesn't happen out there. Patrick.
Colleen, we have gotten some strong wind gusts today in the Santa Monica Mountains, and it's been brutally hot. But fortunately, the Santa Ana event here has not been as strong as feared. Not as strong, for example, in Tony's neighborhood in Rancho Cucamonga. Now, a short while ago, there was a fire start, and the firefighters quickly batted it down. Catch a brush fire quickly enough, even on a hot, dry, breezy day, and you can stop it cold with barely a patch of charred grass to show for it. Where this one ignited just before 3 p.m. in Agoura was fortunate on Cornell Road, just down the block from LA County Fire Station 65. Because of the red flag conditions, Station 65 has an additional strike team engine company, plus a brush patrol crew, even a Class 1 bulldozer at the ready. The dozer wasn't needed for this one.
If we can be on scene within minutes, that's our best chance.
Battalion Chief Mark Whaling is running the strike team, which County Fire deployed for the Santa Monica Mountains and 101 corridor during this extreme fire danger.
When it's this extreme, it's dangerous. People need to be prepared. If a fire breaks out in their community and it's headed their way, they need to evacuate and evacuate quick. They should have their plans and be ready to go.
To the east in the San Fernando Valley, the day began with a rapid-fire series of apparently unrelated fire starts in the wind tunnel below the Newhall Pass. The brush next to the Hanson Dam Golf Course. In Sylmar, where a car and a bus were parked next to a tree. And in Granada Hills, in vegetation over the sound wall from the 118 freeway and right next to Mrs. Brown's Leahy Street home.
The winds were just blowing through here, shaking our windows, shaking our house.
Fortunately, it was up against a retaining wall.
In Hanson Dam, the super scooper and helicopter tankers helped stop the blaze before it got far. The origins of all three suspicious. And that is often the reality on these red flag days. No lightning, of course, but somehow fires just start during these dangerous conditions, and firefighters need to be able to respond quickly, even when the wind begins to taper off, as it is now starting to do in some areas, including here in Agoura. Reporting live, Patrick Healy, NBC4 News.
All right, thank you, Patrick. Many people still trying to make the best of the heat. NBC4's Ted Chen is live in Hollywood now with what that means for businesses. Ted.
Chuck, the people we spoke with today, especially the ones from out of town, thought it was going to be warm today, but not this warm. But it was to the benefit of one team of entrepreneurs. If you start singing this song tonight, you can thank these guys who turn every miserably hot day into good business, all thanks to a little jingle one of them wrote to sell more bottled water.
But once we made the song, then it was like we'd be selling like 10, 11 cases like quick, because people come down here dancing. We have so much footage of people dancing to the song.
He's not kidding. The ice-cold water they were offering was needed throughout LA today, whether you were playing basketball in Baldwin Hills or working construction in Hollywood. It was a hot day even for people who like hot weather, like this family from London.
I like heat. I really like heat. My house is always boiling, everybody says, but this is like hot, really hot.
But talk to someone like Jacob Vera, who was wearing a suit working security in front of the TCL Chinese Theater, and he'll tell you it's all mind over matter.
It's all mental, it's in the head. So when you want to be hot, you're going to be hot, and you want to be cool, you're going to be cool.
But just in case you do feel the heat, there's always the cold water boys to remind you of what's available. People from different climates reacting differently to today's heat. We'll have more on that coming up at 6 o'clock. Reporting live from Hollywood, Ted Chen, NBC4 News. Chuck, calling back to you.
Thank you, Ted. We have put a lot of information that you can use to deal with the heat on our NBC LA app, including Fritz's hour-by-hour forecast and where you can keep cool. Just search extreme heat.
LA County detectives just released this composite sketch of the man they say tried to kidnap a 12-year-old girl in Valencia. Now, we've been following this investigation since October 4th. That's when deputies say the man approached the young girl, offered her a ride near Bridgeport Park. When she refused, the man grabbed her arm, tried to pull her towards his car, but she fought back and ran for help. Detectives say the man was driving a black Toyota or Honda sedan with a dent on the passenger side.
It's all clear right now after a construction crew in Anaheim hit a gas line, and that forced the evacuation of some apartments that were nearby. About 11:30 this morning on Orangewood Avenue, just a block or so from Angel Stadium, a car hit a 2-inch gas line, and 50 people in 2 nearby apartment buildings had to be evacuated from the buildings until they were told it's all clear.
Lumberyard fire in Yurupa Valley forced the Riverside County Animal Shelter to shut down today. That fire quickly grew to about 5 acres as firefighters battled the heat and the intense flames out there. We're told the animals are safe, but the shelter was evacuated because of a power outage. Operations at the shelter will not be back to normal for at least a few days. Firefighters now investigating the cause here.
Los Angeles Board of Education is now considering an end to random metal detection searches. The random searches of students with these handheld detectors has been going on since 1994. Opponents think that the practice criminalizes students and infringes on their civil liberties, and many teachers say that it helps ensure safety. So you've got a contradiction there. The Board of Education heard from both sides today.
My number one priority at Verdugo Hills High School is to make and keep my students safe.
Thank you.
Do random searches help? Yes, they do.
You're always going to see them as a suspect, so they're not going to talk more if you continue to do the searches. They're not going to feel safer.
Opponents also say that many of those items found on campus are actually brought from students who want to be safe on their way to and from school, and they'd like to see more programs to keep students safe during those times.
Bit of a security scare for President Trump, the disguise that a protester used in order to position himself just a few feet away from the president. Plus this. Boy, talk about a frightening situation for a little boy playing in the rain. How his mother reacted to this lightning strike. Close call. And justice for the family of an Orange City police officer who was hospitalized in this car accident. The emotional day that is helping them get some closure. Orange County police officer was ready to forgive the driver who seriously injured him in a crash, a DUI crash. He wanted to hear the words, "I'm sorry." Those words, though, never came. Today, a judge ordered a woman to 3 years behind bars. NBC4's Vicki Vargas was in the courtroom as that woman was sentenced. Vicki?
Colleen, there were actually tears on both sides of that courtroom. The officer mostly upset for a couple of reasons. First, he says the woman who struck him lied. She claimed 2 men she didn't know had drugged her. That's why she was under the influence that night, and because she never apologized. Sharif Muzayan says his leg is attached to his body with a titanium rod. He walks with a cane. Some days he uses a wheelchair. The City of Orange police officer wonders if he will ever go back to the job he loved. He doesn't remember the sound or the impact of that December night, just the smell. Muzayan was caught under the wheels of a car driven by a drunk driver.
My world went black. When I came back to my senses, the first thing I remember was the smell of a vehicle collision.
27-year-old Ashley Bertolino was behind the wheel. She spent 6 days in jail, then bailed out. Muzayan's wife says her husband spent 6 weeks in the hospital.
While in custody, you were heard crying, "I shouldn't be here." In my opinion, you were exactly where you needed to be, and you needed to be there much longer.
Muzayan told the court he was prepared to forgive the woman who caused him so much pain. He was a Marine, a father, who had been to Afghanistan and knew the perils of police work. Then he and his wife found Instagram posts by Bertolino which said she was raising money for Mothers Against Drunk Driving because her own stepfather had been injured. She announced she had cancer, then asked for prayers for herself.
These social media posts have proven me that she did not learn a thing from the incident and that she shows no remorse over what she did to me.
Bertolino spoke out too.
I have suffered a great, deep amount of pain.
Telling the court the posts were her way of communicating.
I am not a user. I do not drink.
Muzayan fears the woman who struck him that night has not learned her lesson and that she will continue to drink and drive. What he doesn't know is if he'll be back to protect the streets when she gets out of prison. Ashley Bertolino had a prior felony drug conviction. That was in 2010. She was diverted to a drug treatment program, then did not do any prison time. Today, prosecutors say, based on where she is, they are disappointed she did not move her life in the.
All right, thank you, Vicki Vargas, reporting live there. Embattled Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein is facing a new accuser and more reaction from his former peers. A woman who once worked as a production assistant for Weinstein has graphic allegations about extremely aggressive behavior. That makes more than 60 accusers since this story broke.
I told him no, no, no. but he insisted. Tried to get him off of me and kept asking him to stop, but it was impossible. He then orally forced himself on me.
George Clooney and Matt Damon have condemned Harvey Weinstein, with some asking why not sooner. As for Weinstein, he's not directly responding. However, his spokesperson has said any allegations of non-consensual sex are denied. Arizona Senator Jeff Flake is finished. He's not going to seek re-election next year, saying that the current political climate is the reason why. In a scathing speech on the floor of the Senate, Senator Flake took aim at President Trump, calling the president reckless, outrageous, and someone who disregards truth and decency. The senator also criticized the Republican Party for no longer believing in its core principles. The White House then fired back, implying that the senator wouldn't win re-election anyway, and calling Flake's decision to retire a, quote, good move.
Screaming protesters threw several small Russian flags today at President Trump as he walked inside the U.S. Capitol.
Trump is treason! Trump is treason! Trump is treason!
The man was actually standing with reporters posing as a journalist when he screamed out repeatedly at the president. President Trump did not seem to flinch at all during the incident, but the protester was in an area reserved for credentialed reporters. No word from the White House about what appeared to be a security breach. The man identified himself as part of a group called Americans Take Action.
You have about a 1 in 700,000 chance of being struck by lightning, but don't tell that to a mother and boy in Argentina. Here's the video. Whoa, that's a dangerous combination. Water and lightning and an umbrella. They got together, scared the heck out of both mother and son. The young boy was playing, as you can see, in the rain when a bolt hit him just feet away. Well, actually, it hit right above his head, as you can see in that video. The boy and his mother, we understand, are just fine. Wow.
All right, we're going to take a live look from our camera positioned on Catalina Island. Still over 100 degrees in so many areas around Southern California right now. What is it going to look like tomorrow? Fritz is standing by with your first alert forecast. Fritz?
Fortunately, Colleen, we have peaked. Improvement is on the way. May take a couple of days to feel it, but still at this hour, 103 in Santa Ana and Anaheim, and 102 downtown, 103 at Long Beach, upper 90s here in the San Fernando Valley, even the mid-90s inland Ventura County. So the Santa Ana winds are settling. We are going to show you some of the gustier winds we've experienced, 50+ mile-an-hour winds. It was a moderate Santa Ana wind, just as forecast. Red flag warning, however, even though we've peaked with the winds, will continue through tomorrow for the combination of the heat and the wind and the low humidity. Pattern change is coming. Just a little bit tomorrow, more noticeably on Thursday, we'll go to an onshore flow. That will cool the temperatures down, reintroduce some moisture into our skies, and relief is on the way. Now, we're never going to get cool. We're just going to get down a few degrees, and then probably by the latter part of the weekend, as you'll see when we get to the 7-day, we're going to be a little more comfortable. We'll be just at normal in many, many spots. So this is the northeast to southwest wind, and we really hit some peaks earlier today. Most of the heavier winds were overnight last night. Inland Empire, out where Tony Shin was, where the winds have been relentless all day, peaked at about 50 in the Highland Springs area, Rialto 41. Down in L.A. County, Malibu Hills at 52, 50 up in the I-5 corridor of the Newhall Pass, and Camarillo Airport, 47-mile-an-hour winds. Here is the hour by hour to show you that we're going to be warm even when we're not supposed to be tonight. San Fernando Valley is 98 degrees at the moment. By the 11 o'clock news, 84, then down into the mid and upper 70s, even at the cool point in the middle of the night. Here's the overall trend. For Riverside, we're looking at 96 degrees now, and then probably by tomorrow morning, upper 60s. Unbelievable. Here's the week out in the Inland Empire where we've had some of the warmer temperatures. 99 degrees for Wednesday. And as I explained to you, we're going to kind of plateau. We'll never get cool. And then by Sunday and Monday, we're at and even slightly below normal. It'll take us a while to get that onshore flow beefed up. Just under 90 in the Antelope Valley tomorrow. Not much change. 68 degrees in the San Gabriel Mountains. Then the valleys of the Inland Empire. Still 100 in some of the warmer spots. Corona, Elsinore 100. 99 in Ontario. Even triples are still possible with a little improvement. Inland Orange County 100 at Santa Ana with low 80s along the coast. Inland Ventura County upper 90s with 86 degrees in the city of Ventura. Downtown LA goes 99 as does South LA. South Bay 92 to 94. 100 at Sherman Oaks, Burbank, and Glendale. 7-day forecast, our mountains are on top. couple of days at 70 in the mountains, then down into the upper 60s. High desert on the bottom goes 89 tomorrow, and just slowly stepping down a degree or two at a time. And by a week from now, we'll be 80 degrees, which is just about normal for all high desert communities. Valleys of the Inland Empire on the top level 7-day there. 97 for Wednesday. Then we're 93 for a couple of days. Over the weekend, 93 and 89, just getting closer to normal. Valleys of Los Angeles and Ventura County, maybe one more day in some of the average valley communities when we're in triple digits. Then 91 for Thursday and Friday, 90 and 87 over the weekend. The beaches are 94 tomorrow, and by the weekend, 80 and 77. Still above normal, but a beautiful beach weekend, maybe a little marine layer. Downtown LA and Inland Orange County communities, 99 for Wednesday, then down into the mid and upper 80s over the weekend, 87 and 84. So slow and slight improvement. Back in a few minutes with your 3-day planner. Have a good day. We'll see you then.
All right, Fritz, still ahead. It's the latest in technology for expectant parents. The new app that could give you a glimpse into your child's genetic future.
And talk about cool and collected. A freezer comes in very handy for a convenience store clerk after robbers raid his business. Fisher-Price is recalling 63,000 baby seats. The reason? A fire hazard. These are the Soothing Motion and the Smart Connect baby seats. Fisher-Price has about 36 overheating complaints and one report of an actual fire. They were sold at stores all across the U.S. and online from November of 2015 to the present. You can check out the NBC LA app. There you'll find a complete list of those baby seats.
And for soon-to-be parents, the ultrasound is usually that first look you get at the future baby. Now, though, one company is taking it up a notch. There is a new app called a Baby Glimpse, and it allows parents to learn more about their baby's hair color, their eye color, even some of their allergies. Here's how it works. You get a DNA testing kit where you send back a sample of saliva from both the parents. Weeks later, you can download the results and learn more about the genetics of your baby. Now, for many, it can be fun, but also medically valuable. Not cheap here. You can expect to pay about $300 for that data.
They're now calling it a shooting spree, and at least part of it was caught on camera. What we're now learning about the Northern California father and his deadly rampage.
Fighting for renters' rights, how California lawmakers could help you from getting priced out of your apartment.
Extreme heat today down at the beach, and why heading to the coast wasn't even enough on a record-setting day like today.
Heat wave isn't just hitting inland areas hard. It is hot, hot, hot along the coast. Not everybody has time to beat the heat in the surf out there.
NBC4's Gordon Tokamatsu is live for us. He's in Manhattan Beach, where even the beaches were in the 90s today. Gordon?
Well, Chuck, as you know, even on a normal day, this is where you want to be to beat the heat, sometimes 10 or even 15 degrees cooler than other places. But not today. We saw triple-digit temperatures here today. And by the way, it's October. From Sabrina in Redondo Beach.
It's like 90s in the house.
To Chela in Wilmington.
This is super hot, yes.
And Tanya in Hermosa.
We have fans.
Is that enough?
It's been enough up until right about now.
The unseasonal, almost unspeakable truth becomes apparent. The old Southern California model of live by the beach, no need for air conditioning, doesn't apply, at least today. Sabrina Salim says on a normal day, this outing near the Manhattan Beach Pier would be much cooler than her un-air-conditioned house.
I mean, 90s. It's pretty rare. Usually maybe high 70s, 80s. Like, I just took a dip.
Not far away, Angela Abarquez soaked up the rays during a break from classes at Loyola Marymount in Westchester. Fortunately, her campus housing this year has AC, but not every student is so lucky.
The freshman dorms last year weren't air conditioned, so it was a little harder.
So this is a break for you to be outside.
It is.
That means babysitters like Chaya Ayala and her friends have to come up with new ways to stay cool, even when summer is already a distant memory. Back here live where you can see some folks still enjoying the beach out here and still trying to cool down, presumably. But let's take a look at our temperature gauge here. I've got 91.9 degrees Fahrenheit in Manhattan Beach right now this late in the day. Reporting live, I'm Gordon Tokumatsu, NBC4 News.
Thank you, Gordon. Well, you can't see it, even in the evening hours. The heat does remain, but Fritz Coleman can see a change in your first alert forecast. Fritz?
Yes, sir. It may take a while to feel it, but a change is on the way. We've peaked with the winds and with the temperatures. But to Gordon's story, it's sort of counterintuitive. You go down to the beach to cool off. However, during a Santa Ana wind, which is an offshore flow, the warmer pocket of air gets pushed all the way down to the water. And as we saw today and yesterday, temperatures at the beach can be even warmer than you'll find in downtown LA or even in some of the valley spots. Unbelievable. These are current numbers. Look, Long Beach is still 103, 102 downtown. We're 88 along the Ventura County coast, 98 degrees in the San Gabriel Valley. And a part of the equation for the continuation of the red flag warning is how low the relative humidity is. Look at Ontario, it's 6%, 10 in Riverside and San Bernardino, 7 at Van Nuys, 11% in Valencia and throughout the Santa Clarita Valley. We showed you some peak wind gusts. These are others scattered around the area. So this was a moderate Santa Ana wind, 25 to 35 mile an hour gusts. Some of the stronger ones anywhere from 50 to 60 miles an hour. But as I say, and as Chuck mentioned, improvement is on the way. I'll be back with more details on that in just a few minutes.
Pasadena Humane Society using misters to keep the animals cool. Many of the pets suffer dehydration, paw burns, or heat stroke when the temps rise. Owners should provide plenty of water, shade, and avoid exercising your pet during the hottest part of the day. If they have to be out, remember, you need to protect their skin too.
If your dog is going to be outside during the day, it's important to apply sunscreen to areas that can easily burn, such as their nose, the inside of their ears, and their paw pads.
If you see an animal left alone in a car, call Animal Control or 911. Keep in mind, it's also now legal to break a window if you see a pet in danger. The NBC LA app has all the information you need during this extreme heat wave, including an hour-by-hour forecast so you can plan your day. Just search extreme heat.
A Northern California man is in custody now in a shooting spree that left 2 people dead, including his own father. 61-year-old Alan Ashmore was arrested in Lake County after a pursuit. Investigators say that Ashmore shot and killed his father and a longtime friend and wounded 2 other people, one of those a highway patrol officer. A security camera rolls as Ashmore fires a shot at a man who runs out of a convenience store.
He's known to people in the area, and we don't know whether these shootings are random or targeted or a combination.
We see the guy there a lot because he flies drones over there.
And after the shooting, investigators say that Ashmore started several wildfires. They were supposed to help him in his escape.
The family of Rachel Nguyen announcing her funeral plans today. This Friday, she'll be laid to rest in Huntington Beach. In July, Rachel was hiking with her boyfriend, Joseph Orbesso, at Joshua Tree National Park when they disappeared. Their bodies were found last week with self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Investigators believe it was a sympathetic murder-suicide because evidence shows they were lost, rationing food and out of water.
5 Michigan teenagers accused of killing a passenger in a car as they were throwing rocks, not small ones, off an interstate overpass. And today we learned that they're going to be tried as adults. Their ages range from 15 through 17, and they're now being held without bail. Now, the rock that hit and killed a 32-year-old man weighed some 6 pounds.
It's not a prank, it's second-degree murder. I don't think anybody's laughing.
A reasonable person would know that that's creating a high risk of either great bodily harm or, in this case, death.
Think of the velocity of that rock, 6 pounds, off an overpass, hit a van traveling at 70 miles an hour.
New at 5, a tough first day on the job for one gas station employee, and that's because he ended up hiding in the freezer when the store was robbed. When the robber walked into the store with a knife, the gas station employee ran to the freezer, posting the situation on Facebook and calling police. He also called his brother to tell him what was going on.
I'm wondering why my brother's calling me at 1:30 in the morning, and in a monotone voice he tells me there's a robbery, we're being robbed. I get up and I'm pacing around the room. Have you already called the cops? Why are you talking to me right now? I'm in the cooler. I already called the cops.
The robber loaded up his cart with merchandise even while the police surrounded the store. About an hour later, he walked out and he was arrested.
California Assembly is now working to reduce the number of renters who are displaced from their apartments. Experts say that renters are slowly being priced right out of their apartments, are being served with what they call just cause eviction notices.
We have heard too many heartbreaking stories of tenants who have lived in their communities for years, if not decades, who are being displaced. Seniors who have lived their entire lifetimes in California cities who are being displaced.
The Assembly actually plans to introduce even more legislation aimed at affordable housing next session.
All right, can't wait to hear this story. They are being called the idiots of the century. Not my words. Coming up, what a group of men in Australia did with a crocodile trap that's going viral.
And some students in Pacoima are flexing their green thumbs, how this grand garden will help benefit the community. A celebration today of an edible garden for students in Pacoima.
Organizers held a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the Vaughn Family and Community Center. They say they hope this will show kids how to grow their own healthy foods and become more aware of nature around them.
Increase healthy food to our families, teach them how to cook healthy on a low budget, and provide our students with nutrition education and promote physical activity as well.
Organizers also say gardens like this one help kids become more resourceful and have a positive impact on their daily lives.
Cheers to that nun with a chainsaw in this viral video. What a brew house is now doing to honor her after Hurricane Irma.
And the speed limit changes that could be coming to your street. The NBC4 team investigates why slowing down could actually put you in more danger.